and move into a form of Kundalini yoga, which is different again. And yet yoga is often so similar. So come to standing, lift and roll the shoulders. Is there anything that anyone wants to flag up or focus on today? Back.
I'm just saying as ever,
Okay,
that's fine.
that's fine.
Shoulders, knees.
So just lift and roll the shoulders a few times. We're going to start to open up the joints. And forwards a few times. And then just lift and roll the shoulders back to set your posture. And then come to hula hoop your hips. You can have your hands down, or if you prefer them on the waist, that's fine as well. So you're just giving movement to the hips, lower abdominal area. And you're swirling your lower chakras, your lower energy levels. And particularly the very base root chakra links into, I know the head links into stress and anxiety, but each chakra is connected to something else. So this also links into anti-anxiety, to ground yourself. And then just reverse the other way. So it's a form, this is like a form of belly dancing. Just swirling the hips. And then release the hands. And just bring your feet slightly closer together. Maybe place your hands on your thighs and just lightly swirl both knees in the same direction. And then swirl the knees in the opposite direction. And then standing up, lift one foot, toes on the ground, and just circle the ankle. The knee will move as well in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. And then lift the other heel. And the same thing, swirl in one direction. And I'm losing balance, swirl in the opposite direction.
Creaking. Oh, that's all clicking.
We've had a mass bones click here, Sarah. Everyone's bones has clicked at the same time. And then just come to standstill and come into that very familiar swaying from side to side. So this looks at all the energies of the body. You can lift your heel or choose to stay flat, up to you. You can keep your arms low, but if you want to really swirl your arms to around your shoulders, this is coming into a Tibetan form of yoga, yantra yoga, really more the medicine side. And you'll find this also in Eastern practices, certainly in Tai Chi. And they do it for quite a long time. And then start to slow down. And then come to stillness. Lift and roll the shoulders and bring the feet back to a comfortable hip width apart. And then place one hand on the waist, feet comfortably apart. So my right hand is on the right waist and my left hand is pushing to the right. Bending the knees slightly, and then just draw your hand, palm up back, and then just turn, breathing out as you push to one side, breathing in as you turn the palm up and just sway it back, breathing out. It becomes not only a movement, but a form of breath work and almost meditation as well. And then just drop that hand and reverse the hand. So in my case, I'm going to have my left hand on my left waist. And as I breathe out, I push, bending my knees to the left with my right hand, and then palm up as I come back. You're almost pushing the air away, and then just almost drawing your hand, drawing in towards you. And now, if your mind does get muddled, you can do both hands. So, and I do get muddled, but so 1, 2, oh, like a ball. Well done. And then finally bring your ball back to the centre. Drop your hands and restart. So mindful of the back. This is slow and really bend your knees. So breathing in, raise your hands to where it's appropriate for you. It can be a little bit or a lot up, just according to your capacity. And breathing out, really bend your knees as you just touch your hands either to your shins or to the floor. And press your feet into the ground as you roll up, back up to standing. You can reach up, you can almost reach back, just to where it works for you. Really bend your elbows and bend your knees to come down. And make the next one the last one. And lower hands. Join the thumbs, raise the hands to where it works for you, and just gently sway from side to side. So this is a gentle lateral stretch. It just stretches out the intercostal muscles, which ultimately then increases your lung capacity. It's just stretching out from side to side, giving space under the arms for the upper lymphatic system. And then come to stillness and just drop your hands to the heart center and index fingers together, pointing up, clasp your hands over, and then your thumb, whichever finger, but normally for women it's left over right thumb. And just bring your hands to the heart and take a couple of breaths, just recovering. So this encourages you to stand up straight and align your posture. It very subtly engages the arms. And then just keep the hand grip. Have your feet a little bit apart. Again, really mindful of your back, I know, by really bending your knees. Lift slightly up or right up, and bending your knees as much as you need to. Come over to touch your left foot on the outside. Breathing in, soften your knees. Come up. Do that again. And you'll feel the stretch on the right side. And I'll make the next one just 3, the last one on this side. Come to slightly turn towards your right side and the same 3 on the right side. This is meant to cleanse through. It's supposed to be for the aura, going through all your energy fields. And when you've done 3, come back up to the center and just release the arms. Just lift and roll the shoulders. And then the next one is breath work, very typical of Kundalini. You find it called breath of fire. You make a light fist, thumbs up, raise your arms to where they're comfortable. It could be here, here, or here. And you're breathing in and out through the nose. Equal breath. It's called breath of fire. And then breathe in, hold the breath, touch the thumbs together, and when you're ready to breathe out and lower the arms. Very detoxifying, lift and roll your shoulders. And then just breathing in, turn the head to the left. Breathing out, dip your head slightly towards your chest as you bring the head up to looking towards your right shoulder. Breathing out, chin slightly to chest, like a pendulum, and look to the left, a little bit or a lot, up to you. It's a neck exercise. And to the right. And just carry on a few times to your own breath pattern. So emotionally, moving and freeing the neck off links body and mind, so your thought process with your, often they can be out of sync, but you're also looking at the thyroid, parathyroid here, which is part of your hormonal balance. It can go out of whack, particularly if you're very stressed. The adrenals seemingly can impact the thyroid. And then just drop the chin to the chest. And then just very gently, just place your hands on your chest to lift the head up very safely. Drop your hands. And then step out your feet to hip width apart and just open your arms, but again to where you're open. Just turn your left foot in slightly, your right foot slightly out. Bring the left, or the other way around, left palm to right, draw your bow. Breathing in, raise your right arm, look up, and then just open. And left palm to right, draw your bow. Breathing in, looking up, open, and then left palm to right, draw your bow, breathing in, look up and open, drop your arms, bring your right foot in, left foot out slightly, hands to the centre of the heart, to open your arms to only where it suits you. If you've got stiff shoulders, then keep a bend in your elbows. This time, right palm to left. Draw your bow, arm up, and then just open to where it works for you. Right palm to left. Draw your bow, breathing in, looking up, out. This is the last time. Right palm to left. Draw your bow. Up. Open, lower your hands. And then just come to bring your foot back. And keep your feet hip width or wider apart, hands on the waist. And we come back to that hula hoop movement. But just make it quite wide, and making it quite wide perhaps means bending your knees. So this is supposedly, if you make it wide and more exaggerated, quite good for your liver, which is a detoxifying organ of the body. So you're almost, if you think about it, compressing down slightly and then stretching up, so it's like a mini blood pump, and then just reverse your circle. And then think about coming to standstill. A standstill, come to bring your feet together. And keep your arms bent to do this. Just one side, press your feet down to come up. The other side, it's almost windmilling your hands from side to side. But keep your elbow bent if you need to. And then come to stand still, lift and roll your shoulders. And then walk on the spot. So this sets up a vibration in the body, particularly on such a cold well, wet, cold day, the vibration from your feet goes right to the top of the head. It's quite warming, and the next exercise is optional, and I'll show you. I find it's wonderfully exhilarating but tiring. And then just come to slow down your marching. And feet hip width apart. You bend your knees down, up, breathing down, up. Now then, if you want to be really Kundalini yogic about it, you would almost bend your knees down like a frog and keep your hands on the floor. So you can choose the first option. You can choose to bend your knees a little bit, like so you're a half frog. Or if you really feel that your knees can cope, bend right down, keeping your hands on the ground. It's very warming. It's supposed to raise the energy all up and along your spine. So when you bend, you're looking up now, breathing out, looking down at the floor, breathing out, looking up and down. And then finally, as you bend your knees, come to sitting on the mat, knees bent, and just rest before we go on to the next stage. Although it's exhausting, it's quite a nice feeling afterwards.
It's quite nice, yeah.
And just either sit or lie, just to recover however you want to do that. If you're lying, just very gently sway your knees from side to side. Sway your head from side to side. And then a couple of pelvic tilts. And then hugging the knees into the chest, sway them from side to side. Hug the knees into the chest and let them drift away to arm's length for this very familiar lower back movement. And then we're going to come back to a seated position. So either bring your feet to the ground and roll to the right, or come to a seated position, however that works for you. And if you then come onto your knees, we're going to come to start with to standing. And in Kundalini, you'll come across the word Kriya a lot. So Kriya, we did the warm-ups first. What we've done up to now have been the warm-ups. Kriyas are cleansing actions. So this one is meant to be done standing, and then we'll come down to kneeling. So come to standing. We're going to do this 5 times. You're meant to do it 49 times, but that's just far too long. And it's meant to be cleansing and just very uplifting for anxiety and stress. And the reason for that is because as you're looking up, your eyes are disconnecting from the stress centres of the brain. It just clears everything. So hands together in that Venus lock, index fingers together. Normally women are left over right, but it doesn't matter. And breathing in, lift your hands as high as you can go. Breathing out, lower them. Breathing in, lifting up, looking up, breathing out, lower. You can almost stretch backwards, but that just depends on your shoulder capacity. I think you get quite tired for 49 times. It also controls your breath as you breathe in as you go up, breathe out as you come down. We might have just gone a little bit over the 5. And then just release. So if you fancy doing more of that, feel free to do more. And then we come back to kneeling on the ground. So for kneeling, you're kneeling up, or you can sit cross-legged. Whichever you want to do. I like to kneel up. Hands are supposed to be out, but I'm aware of...
I can do it for a minute.
You can do it with your hands on your waist as well. So whatever you... Either hands out, that's you might get tired, hands on the waist. Breathe into the left, breathe out to the right. Your breath pattern, in left, out right. Into the left. You can breathe out through the nose or out through your mouth. Remember, if your shoulders get tired, drop your hands to your waist. And then come gently back to the centre, and then come to a seat position, your choice, however you're comfortable seated. Cross-legged, legs out to the front, on a bolster, whatever you want to do to feel comfortable. You're meant to have your palms up, but it doesn't matter. And you're shrugging your shoulders, so lift and drop one shoulder, lift and drop the other. Your breath pattern, your timing, lift and drop. The dropping almost releases. It releases almost in the head, the neck, the shoulder. There's no, you lift and just drop right down. And then come to finishing that. And the next one is staying comfortable. You're meant to have your hands out in front. If that's too much, because you're stretching yourself at the shoulders, put your hands on your waist. So choose to be comfortable, and it's breath of fire. So and then think about ending that. Release your hands, lift and roll your shoulders. Clasp your hands behind And just be comfortable. It opens your shoulders, knuckles to the ground. This is more difficult. Breath and fire again. And then come to stop and release. Be comfortable, sitting in cross-legged position, on a bolster, legs out. And it's something called Dhyana Mudra. So hands can be up or hands can be down. And you join your thumb and second finger, either at the end or in like that. If you have your hands up, it's Dhyana Mudra, it's gesture of consciousness. You're receiving from above, that's a thought. If you have your hands down, it's gesture of knowledge. I tend to choose what's most comfortable for me. And just resting your hands, your shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. Breathe in as you turn your head slightly to the left. Breathe out, turn your head slightly to the right. Carry on in your own time. In to the left, out to the right. In. Your breath pattern. And then very gently come to stillness and release that. And then either have your legs out or stay sitting. I'm going to have my legs out on the floor just for this one. And it's just hands down. Forward facing fingers is very yogic. You can have your hands in as you want to. Just press your hands down, lift your chest and lift your eyes, lift your chin slightly. It's reversing. Just stretching out. So lifting the chest is very uplifting for the mood generally. It's anti-depression, and on a day like this, very relevant. And then just very gently come back to, again, a comfortable seated position. You might want to kneel up. It's just for a few movements. Again, cross your hands, second fingers, index fingers together, left thumb over right. Just breathe in and out. This is a weird exercise. It's just going over the top of your head. Breathing in, hands go, elbows go back. It's more than it looks. It's going over the aura, over the upper chakra, the Sahasrara point. It's meant to be clearing like all our connection with all the rubbish of everyday life. Just reconnecting us in a different way, connecting into our aura. And then just release. Your hands lift and roll your shoulders. And then come to a comfortable seated position for a metabolic rebalancing. So come to the hands comfortably, either in your lap, left hand on top, right hand on the bottom, or Dhyana Mudra. And this looks at the thyroid and the parathyroid at the neck, the pituitary and the pineal. So as we go up and down with the head, it's the pineal and pituitary, which are the master gland, very connected with the menopause. Thyroid and parathyroid also connected. So you can chant or not chant. And the chant is sa, S-A, ta, T-A, sat, sat, ta, na, N-A, and a ma, M for mother, A. And it's a cycle of life. So it's birth, death, life, death, rebirth. So you don't have to chant, but very subtly, sa is slightly lifting your chin up, eyes up, open or closed, ta, chin down to the chest, na, to the left, slightly, ma, to the right, and come back to the centre. Sa, slightly up, ta, down. Na, slightly to the left, ma, to the right. And back to the centre. Sa, up, ta. Na, to the left, ma, to the right. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Come to the centre. Release your hands. And then we're going to do the same. Thumbs to second finger, sa, thumbs to third finger, ta, thumbs to fourth finger, na, thumbs to little finger, ma. And then back to the beginning. So sa, ta, na, ma. 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 And you go softer and softer. Sa, ta, to a whisper. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And then you say it in your head, still putting the fingers together. And then you just release the fingers and just spend a few breaths comfortably. You could be lying, you could be sitting up, legs out. Just breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 4. In, 2, 3, 4, and out. And you may find as you start to breathe in and out that your breath starts to slow down on the exhalation. In. You watch the breath go in, pause, and it turns round and goes out. Just letting the body settle from the movement that we've made. And take this time or moment to have a thought for the day, setting your intention. Let that then drift away. Bring your head up, hands to the heart. Thank you. And I'll read some cards. In Kundalini Yoga, they chant at this point, and they chant for ages. And I don't know the words, but it's like sake, wake, guru, muru, something like that. And they go on and on chanting, because a chant gets you in a mindless sort of state. But we've done a little bit of satanama, and that was a Kundalini practice. So Kundalini Yoga very much is about clearing the system. It's slightly different, it's slightly repetitive. They do things for longer, so rather we did things 3 or 5 or 10 times, they do it for 40 to 50 times, and it really can be exhausted. So that frog thing was up and down, up and down. Yeah, they do it a lot, and quickly as well. So, and then just, I got these out specially, which won't translate to Sarah quite so nicely. So air and water. Water being very relevant today. The lower sound is water.